Hi, my name is John Nastos, and I'm going to give you a tour of some of the new features of Metronomics 4.0. The first thing that I'm going to do is just choose the default metronome, which is 4 beats per measure at 120 beats per minute. The next thing that I'm going to do is increase the beats per measure to 8. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm going to add a new subdivision. But instead of adding one of the common or custom subdivisions, which were available in previous versions of Metronomics, I'm going to add something from the preset list. The preset list includes a list of subdivisions that have some sort of baked-in item, most of the time a sequenced rhythm. And included are quite a few clave rhythms, which are common Latin rhythms. In this case, I'm going to choose a rumba clave, which is an 8-beat pattern. I'm also going to select the sound before I add it, which is another new feature in Metronomics 4.0. In 4.0, there are 40 different sounds to choose from, and they've all been mastered for high volume and sounding good with the iPhone speaker. So I'm going to choose the clave sound. And now you can hear that that clave pattern has been added, already sequenced. The next thing that I want to do is play around with the time signature. So I'm going to increase the beats per measure to 9. And you can hear that what happens, and you can see in the sequencer, that the pattern is 8 beats, and when it gets to the 9th beat, it starts repeating. You can see that's represented by these translucent boxes at the end. But I can change that repeat type. If I scroll down to preset repeat type and I change it to no repeat, then when it gets to that 9th beat that doesn't have sequenced information, it's left blank and the pattern starts over again on beat 1. I'm going to adjust the beats per measure. I'm going to turn it down to 7. I'm also going to change the tempo and increase it a little bit. Now you can hear that because the pattern is longer than the beats per measure, when it gets to the end, it resets on beat 1 with this repeat type. I could also change the repeat type to loop. And in this situation, the time signature is 7, and you can hear that the preset pattern loops around every 8 beats. And in the sequencer, you can see that reflected. Again, the translucent boxes represent when it's being looped. And it'll keep looping until the pattern, the preset pattern, and the time signature both end on beat 1 again. Another thing that's new in Metronomics 4.0 is the ability to offset a rhythm. So I'm going to go back to 8 beats per measure, that clave sound. And I don't want it to start on beat 1 anymore. So I can go into the subdivision options and choose from offset 1. The offset type is 1, meaning 1 quarter note. This is the same scheme as the custom subdivisions. 1 subdivision per 1 beat. If I wanted 8th notes, I could set it to 2 subdivisions per 1 beat. And you can see in the sequencer, now it starts on beat 2. So if I start this up, it's offset 1 quarter note. You could also make it more interesting and say offset it 1 quarter note triplet. 3 subdivisions per 2 beats are equivalent to a quarter note triplet. And you can see in the sequencer now, it's moved over 1 quarter note triplet. And you can hear that that leads to some pretty interesting combinations. So this can be a great way to come up with new rhythms or practice rhythms that occur in unusual places in the bar that you wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to practice. Something else that I'd like to cover that's new is the ability to change a subdivision's duration. Before, if you had quarter notes in your metronome and you wanted 8th notes instead, your only option was to add 8th notes and maybe remove the quarter note version. But now you can go into the subdivision options and choose from subdivision duration and choose a new type. Again, this is the same scheme, subdivisions per beat. So for eighth notes, that means 2 subdivisions per 1 beat. And you can hear and see that now it's playing eighth notes instead of quarter notes. So these are a couple of the new features in Metronomics 4.0. If you already have the app, please check out the update. If you don't have it, you can find Metronomics on the App Store, and you can learn more at metronomicsapp.com. Thanks.